welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, father of the pod, Charette.
Doc G, what's up, sir?
Oh, my gosh, Mike. Another Wednesday. That is what is up. That is what is up. Just adjusting my microphone, making sure we are at optimal heights, you know. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good.
Good.
I am feeling good.
You told me and the listeners last week that you had to move.
Yeah.
How is the move treating you?
The move is good. You know, we're finally in, and you know, I'm loving some aspects of this new place, Doc G.
Nice.
Water pressure here is amazing.
Nice. Very important for the shower.
Yeah, I don't think people realize it until you move, until you get to a new spot where the water pressure is either terrible or way better. And here it is like 2x better.
Yeah.
And yeah. And also, no, go ahead.
It's really like the Seinfeld back in the day, you know? It really is. The low-flow showers, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you get that high-pressure shower, you do feel like a car coming out of a good car wash. Like, you're just like, oh, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It sprayed all the of me. This is great.
It was great, man. You know, I was moving plants. I have a lot of plants, Doc G. Yeah. And I was like able to like pressure wash my fingernails with this shower. Nice. It was awesome. Anyways.
Nice. Mike, as the listeners know, you are in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I got, you know, I was looking at your old place and your new place as far as the address. And then I, of course, as I usually do, just got sort of sidetracked with places to eat. And I've got 3 places.
Nice. Okay.
Breakfast places.
Oh, okay.
Now, how many breakfast places have you gone to? You been to any in Vegas?
I mean, yeah, we've gone to a few.
Okay, let's see if you've been to. Here's my 3. First, Egg Works. Have you been to Egg Works?
That place is so good. Yeah, Egg Works.
Okay, that looks really good, man.
They give you a banana nut muffin as like an appetizer.
Right,
it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
They have now. I don't know if you've seen this, but they have the sort of Cincy style chili, the Cincinnati style chili. But then they also have an omelet where they put the Cincinnati style chili in the omelet, and I was like, "Are you kidding? Eggs and beans? Oh my God, that'd be a delicious fart fest. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My goodness.
What's Cincinnati chili? I've never had the chili.
Oh, it's good, Mike. It is good. And, you know, of course, the actual style of Cincinnati chili, they just put, like, just a giant mound of cheese on the top. Oh.
Okay. Nice.
Now, also, Mike, this one looks a little less extravagant, I would say. Maybe a little bit more healthy, but excellent. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yes. Excellent. Like excellent, but spelled with eggs, right?
So true.
And it looks good, Mike. It looks good.
Okay.
Now, again, like I said, I don't know. Judging offline or online, it looks like the portions are smaller than Egg Works.
Okay.
But rave reviews, Mike. Rave reviews. And then my last breakfast place, Mr. Mama's.
Oh, Mr. Mama's.
Now that looks like sort of like a straight diner place, you know? Like just straight old school breakfast diner, you know? I think you need to hit it up, Mike.
Definitely.
That's my recommendations.
Thank you, Doc G. I appreciate that.
Of course. Now that we've gotten the very important business of food out of the way, I do have one other thing that needs to be discussed before we start the show, Mike.
What is this?
Well, you know, I constantly have my ear to the streets. I'm not sure what that means, but I do it.
Nope.
Right? I listen I've got my eye out on everybody else in the entertainment world.
Well, Doc G, you have a show to make. And
exactly.
You've got your ears. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I'm listening to other talk shows and other podcasts, and I got to bring up something that will never be used on this show that I hear on other talk shows and podcasts. I have heard a lot of interviews where a musician or an actor or a comedian comes on the show and they start talking about their craft, Mike. They start talking about creating art. Mm-hmm. And then they say something like, well, as a creative, what? We do work differently. And then they continue on. Or they'll include the host. Well, as creatives, you know how I work because I'm a creative.
Lame.
They label themselves, Mike, creatives. That's right. They took an adjective and they made a collective noun because they're so creative, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, this term makes me want to stab the person that said it in the genitals. This takes something so broad, so general, and it condenses it down to a yes or no option. You know what I'm saying? Creativity is a continuum, Mike. Put anyone in a situation and they may have a flash of creativity.
Right.
It's on a continuum. Put somebody in a new situation around new people, you may see something creative pop out of that person.
That's a fact.
But with this term, creatives, they make it a binary option. And obviously, when you start labeling people creatives, you're inherently saying everyone else that's not creatives are not creative.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're either creative or you're not, which is bullshit, Mike.
Yeah, it is.
Think about that with any other adjective. What if we just started doing that with smart? Just start grouping people as smarts. Hey, there's a group of smarts over there. First of all, it'd be really dumb. Second of all, it'd be really obnoxious.
Yeah.
Well, as smarts, I tend to solve problems very quickly. Mm-hmm. It's because of my super intelligence. Like, creatives. There's no criteria for being creative, Mike. There's no finite way to judge being creative.
Yeah.
And I've got news for you. Most of the time when people say you're creative, it's because they think you're really weird and they don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not a bad thing. That's just what it is. They're like, well, that was really weird. Hey, that was creative.
That was creative.
Nice. That's creative. And guess what? Everybody in the world is weird, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
There is no average person. You may think you've met the most normal person in the world. Give them enough time and you will realize, oh, no, they're weird.
Yeah.
Right? There's going to be something because there are no norms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which means everyone is creative in some way. Just give them a chance to be creative. Creativity is fostered, Mike. It is not inherent. Mike, on the Doc G Show, we celebrate everyone's creativity.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Woo-hoo. Not a select few, Mike.
No.
Mike,
and
are you...
and their weirdness. Sorry. And their weirdness. That was hard to say.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Their weirdness is their creativity. And Mike, are you ready to fire up this show that is sometimes creative, sometimes not? It's a continuum.
Let's fire up this continuum, Doc G.
All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Woo! Gosh, I feel like that almost turned it into something space there for a second. Space-time continuum?
Yes.
That's where I'm getting it from. Mike, my goodness, I am excited. I am excited about the show today. We have the one and only Tim Brennan from the Dropkick Murphys
nice.
on
Got
the
album.
show. Oh, my gosh.
Sick.
It came in the mail just the other day. They are on their St. Patrick's Day tour ending in Boston. Woo! My goodness, Mike. Just think about it. Thousands of Irish Bostonites listening to Dropkick Murphys on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to go out on a limb, Mike, and say those folks may enjoy a beer or two on that day.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a party.
Just imagine the pinches you'd receive if you weren't wearing green. Oh, my God. It would be devastating.
Yeah, you would die.
You would die from over-pinching. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to talk to him. It is going to be fantastic. But, Mike, we need to start. Where do we start?
Birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Mike, I think you got this one.
All right.
You know? Born March 12th, 1948 in Boston, Massachusetts. Our birthday suit wearer is a 6-time Grammy winner who was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000. His songs include Fire and Rain, You've Got a Friend, Country Road, Sweet Baby James, How Sweet It Is, Carolina in My Mind, Copper Line, and many others.
That's right.
Name that birthday suit wearer.
That's the Toy Story song, right?
I think so. Yeah,
one?
You've Got a Friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. I need to go back and watch Toy Story to remember. But in my mind, I've gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? No, nothing?
No. Sorry, Doc G.
Yeah. I'll give you the initials. JT.
James Taylor.
James Taylor is correct.
Nice. Thank you, Doc G. I don't
50.
always get it with the initials. I mean, not always, but sometimes I do.
I mean, it helps. It helps.
That's so random. James Taylor. Yeah, I do know James Taylor.
JT,
He's got a couple,
man.
He's got a couple hits.
He's got a bunch. Easy listening.
Yeah.
It is, for folks our age, Mike, it is a good chance that if we meet another person our age, our moms are going to love James Taylor. Mm-hmm. There is a high percentage that ladies in the age group of like 55 to 80 love some James Taylor hardcore. And you know what? Consider me a 55-year-old to 80-year-old lady because I love James Taylor.
He's got a voice, man. It's very easy to make
soothing.
fun of. It's soothing.
It's very soothing.
But it's funny to
You mean like his talking voice?
Nah, like his singing voice. It's just kind of funny.
Huh? I don't know. I think it's just soft. You
got a friend in need.
No. You're thinking no. Sorry, that's another. You got James Taylor, but that's
Is
not
that a different guy.
That's Randy Newman.
That's Randy Newman.
Yes. Yeah. No. And he does have a very unique voice.
Different guy.
Sorry, I
still got it right.
I was not informed on Toy Story enough. I couldn't remember. I didn't know. But yeah. That's Toy Story. You've Got a Friend in Me, which is
It's a totally different song.
Yeah. You've Got a Friend, not You've Got a Friend in Me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, James Taylor, You Got a Friend. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, what? Weird voice. What are you talking about?
Hilarious.
Yeah, no, James Taylor, very soothing voice, Mike. Soft rock. Very, acoustic rock music. Very 70s when he started out, Are you listening?
I'm going to give just a quick...
Give a quick listen, real quick.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Nah, normal voice. Sorry, guys. Wrong guy.
Correction. Normal voice. Randy Newman's great though. I mean, even though it's not his birthday, Randy Newman is pretty fantastic. He was on the second ever Saturday Night Live.
Oh wow.
But anywho. Happy birthday to James Taylor, Mike, turning 77. 77 for James. Okay, Mike. Ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, RJ.
It's now time for Ripped from the Headlines.
Mike, we've got a story from ABC News. Headline, quote, after 40 years on the run, escaped prisoner located and caught. Mike, as you may have gathered from the headline, a guy escaped from prison. And it took him 40 years to find him. So this was Jorge Mia Valdez. He had escaped from Puerto Rican prison in 1987. Moved to Florida and had been living under a different name. And they arrested Jorge, and as they were arresting him, they had the old, I forget what do they call it? It's the old POV cam, but they don't call it POV. What is it, like chest cam? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, they had that going, and in that cam, it said, or Jorge said, they don't want me. They told me about 2 times they don't want me.
Word.
And I gotta say, Mike, I appreciate the attempt that George did, but it's a little hard to believe, you know, like mainly because how did they tell you? Like, did you call the prison up you escaped from? We're like, hey, you guys still interested in having me? Or you? Then then like a couple years later, called up just to make sure you're still good with me being out here. Okay, you are? All right, cool. Like, I think they wanted you, you know? It's just, but like, you gotta be impressed with the tenacity, right, Mike? Like, 40 years and they were still looking for the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like statute of limitations for me, anything that's not murder, I would cut off by 40 years, I feel like. Maybe rape, too, you know? Rape and murder. That's about it, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody robs a bank, 40 years, who gives a shit? You won the money, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, just...
how long would you say would you give up on like a bank robber? When would
like
they
10
escape
years?
from prison? 10 years? Okay.
Maybe 15, maybe even.
Yeah, 15
but like,
max.
but 40's crazy, man.
So true.
Plus, like that, I just feel like, I mean, obviously he did some kind of crime, but like, just imagine.
Yeah, we don't know what it was.
Well, so it didn't say what he originally went to prison for. Apparently, under his fake name, he committed some crimes as well in Florida, and that's actually how they found him.
Okay.
But yeah, he did some burglary here. That was some stuff, and like, I don't know, man. That's rough though. Like, you're just all the time looking out, you know.
Yeah,
like
it's tough,
everything.
man.
Like, Jesus, I couldn't live like that. Good God.
No.
I mean, you know, no, thank you. No, thank you.
No.
Mike,
good.
well, Jorge, I don't know how long you've got in prison, but hopefully it works out, man. Mike, the next story is from Heat magazine. I didn't know Heat was a thing, but here's the headline. Quote, Heat, by the way, is from the UK. I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Heat magazine. It's sort of like a celebrity, sort of a people magazine, if you will.
Gotcha.
Maybe. Quote, these actors have become the 2 most hated men in Hollywood. Here's why.
Word.
Any guesses who they're talking about, Mike?
No, there's just so many guys on the chopping block right now, it seems.
Well, it's not going to be 2 people that you would guess. It is not. It is.
I almost kind of want to say Ryan Reynolds is one of them.
Nope.
No?
Not Ryan.
Okay.
Nope. It's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Word.
Oh, okay. The brothers.
Well, apparently the article is arguing they have become 2 of the most hated men in Hollywood because they were in an ad trying to get Texas legislators to create new incentives for film and TV productions in Texas. So, that's riled up all the, production companies and everything in Hollywood, and they hate them. That's the idea, because they're trying to take business, of course, away from Hollywood. And I got to say, I don't buy it, Mike.
Nope.
I mean, until every show is filmed in Texas, I don't think they'll really care. Plus, those companies in Hollywood can move their stuff, right? It's not fixed.
Yeah.
They can take their equipment out to Texas. That's fine. That works. Like, I got to be honest, Mike. That commercial doesn't really put them above Kevin Spacey and Mel Gibson for me. Like, I mean, there's some people that definitely beat out old Mac Attack and Woody. I would like to hang out with those two guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike, BBC, Science Focus Magazine. They've got a lot of different magazines, that BBC.
BBC, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
But this is the headline we've got. Quote, feeling just meh about life? It could be anhedonia. Here's how to reverse it.
Anhedonia.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
It could be anhedonia, Mike. Or it could just be life. Have you taken a gander lately? It's not the best, all right? Unless you won the lottery. It's been like, just think about it. What if you had to move recently? Right? That'll take you down.
Anhedonia.
That'll take you a peg or two, right, Mike? Gosh. Jesus.
Anhedonia.
Anhedonia.
It sounds like something. It sounds like some like cosmological waves, like hitting you in a weird way. It's like, yeah, there's some anhedonia going around.
It's a cool psychology term, Mike. It reminds me of the show Frasier.
That's a fact.
That was on the show Frasier. One time they were doing a trivia game to win a prize at his radio show. And that's what it just like cuts in the middle. And he's like, okay, listeners, no one has guessed the correct answer. The correct answer? Anhedonia. Anhedonia. And that's, yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I just always, whenever I hear the word, that's what it makes me think of. The learned show of Frasier. Anywho, Mike, I've got another headline. This from the actual BBC. No subcategory.
Okay.
Straight BBC here. Quote, MPs set to tighten laws around crossbow sales. Now, Mike, I don't know if you know this, but in the UK, it's pretty hard to own a gun.
That's a fact.
You know? It is. They do not have a Second Amendment in the UK. Any guesses how many people have guns?
I would say like 10% of the population.
Roughly 1 in every 124 people have a gun.
Okay.
So much less than 10%.
Oh wow.
We're less than 1%. And in America, we have roughly 1.3 guns per person. On average, everybody's got a gun.
Yeah, so don't come over here.
Well,
you guys know what you're in for.
It's really weird, Mike.
I've got a sword.
You know the weird part, Mike. UK has roughly 570 deaths per year due to guns. We have roughly 50,000. Huh?
Yeah.
How does that work? That's weird. Just thought I'd throw that out there. What's the correlation? That's crazy. I don't understand. But, Mike, obviously, when you don't have a gun, you got to look for something else. Mm-hmm. And apparently, just recently, a man murdered a woman and 2 of her daughters with a crossbow in the UK.
Jeez.
And so that's sort of this reaction is now they're looking to, put a little bit more regulation on the old crossbows, you know?
What's the crossbow per person?
I don't know. I didn't actually look up the total number of sales of crossbows.
1.3 crossbows per person in the UK.
They've already got some big regulations on crossbows, Mike. But I was thinking more like, America is obviously never cracking down on crossbows. And we're definitely never cracking down on guns. That's never happening.
Nah, no way.
But, I was thinking, can you just imagine mass murderers in America trying to go on a rampage with a crossbow? Like, we are way too for that.
Yeah, no way.
They get halfway into loading the first arrow, and they'd be like, yeah, I'll just live in my grandparents' basement. It's fine, whatever. Like, just go back to whatever. Like, it just... Crossbows, man. We don't have the energy for crossbows.
No way.
It's just like, you gotta, like, I mean, again, it's a horrible tragedy that occurred with this crossbow, but you gotta be a little bit more dedicated if you're going out getting crossbows to settle scores, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit much.
You got to be precise with it, you know?
Exactly.
Can't miss.
Exactly. Can't get a glancing blow with a crossbow.
No, it's got to be.
Mike, I've got another headline from Fortune. Here's the headline from Fortune. Quote, In-N-Out's billionaire heiress says she stood in line 2 hours to land a job at her own store when she was just a teenager to shake the stigma of being the owner's kid and earn respect. Well, she's convinced me, Mike. She earned her $7.3 billion like the rest of us by waiting in line for 2 hours once when she was a teenager, right? I think that's all how we got there. Am I right?
Yep.
Mike, no. This is Lindsay Snyder, Mike, in case you didn't know. Lindsay Snyder, she's worth $7.3 billion. She owns In-N-Out. And apparently she became the only blood relative of the ownership of In-N-Out at the age of 17. But she didn't just take over the organization. She worked her way up for 10 years through the company and then took over everything when she was 27. And don't get me wrong, Mike, I definitely will say that that's commendable, you know. Not a lot of people would go through that grind. Most of them would just be like, give me the company, you know. But I also will say it's a lot easier to grind through those lower level jobs when you know at the end you're going to be inheriting $7.5 billion. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you know how hard I'd be working at McDonald's if I was about to inherit every McDonald's? I'd be scrubbing the floors at 3 a.m. like, somebody's got to do this. Let's get in here, guys. Come on, man. Like, I mean, yeah, she's got a little bit more stake in the game. Like, of course you're going to do it. Ridiculous, Mike.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Mike, I've got a headline from People. People magazine. Woohoo. Here we go. Quote, Elton John says he and Chappell Rowan FaceTime often. I just fell in love with her. End quote. Mike, Sir Elton said that he first found out about her music about 3 years ago. He said he played her song Pink Pony Club on his Apple music show, Rocket Hour. Then, as he puts it, then I started to FaceTime her personally and just fell in love with her. I loved who she was, what she talked about, how brave she was, her story. Mike, I got to say that's an awesome perk of being famous and talented. You know? You can just call up anyone you see on TV, and they're going to want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Like, he could see a movie with Ethan Hawke and be like, man, I need to tell Ethan that he did a fantastic job. And he just tells one of his people, hey, go find Ethan Hawke's number. And then he calls him up. And you know what? Ethan will be jazzed when he calls him up. He'll be like, holy Ethan, you know what? Sir Elton John just called me. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know how many times I've tried to do that with Leonardo DiCaprio?
I know. That's hard, man. It's tough.
Never happens, Mike.
Yeah.
You know? Well, once the Doc G show becomes the biggest talk show in the world and Bangladesh has come to their senses, we'll be good, you know? We'll be able to get anybody we want, you know?
It does have to be cool, though, man. I mean, really, to be able to just reach out to any of the most interesting people in the world. And, you know, you're Elton John. It's like, I guess, you know, there just aren't many people. Because Ethan Hawke couldn't do that with Elton John.
No, yeah.
Ethan Hawke, you know.
There are definitely levels. Yes.
There's levels.
There's levels. There's a hierarchy of celebrity status.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah.
and Elton is in that, like,
He's at
top,
the top
status. He's in that status that only people like him, Michael Jordan,
Paul McCartney, maybe? Yeah.
Taylor Swift. Like, these people can get in there and just make any call they want, and a person will be like, what?
And they will answer.
Yeah.
First
try.
try.
Exactly. That has never happened to me, Mike. Even with my own friends, they screen my calls, and they're like, I don't.
Do you think if Taylor Swift calls you that it just shows up as Taylor Swift, no phone number?
No way, man.
Like, that's where she's at in her life?
It's just...
like in her...
No, it's a totally, unknown. Like, not unknown, but what was the other one that it is?
No caller ID.
Yes. Yeah. You get the no caller ID, you know? I feel like, although honestly, this sounds crazy, I feel like Paul McCartney, actually, it's just a regular number. Like, it's just an area, like, it's just, and he's just like, hey, this is Paul.
Yeah, they're old school.
Hey, it's Paul. How are you? And it's just, that's it.
And then Elton John's like, oh, it's good. It's good. I can't, it was terrible.
Whatever that is, what English accent.
So true.
Mike, let's take a break. We are going to be right back, but first we are going to hear none other than Dropkick Murphys right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what should the listeners do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show wherever they get their podcasts. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Sirius, Pandora Plus. Please subscribe to the show. It's a cost-effective way to support the show. And listeners, if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a 5-star review. We would
Amen.
love that.
Amen. Mike, I've got great news. We've got a new 5-star regular.
Nice.
New city. Sweet. It will be revealed after I go through the regular list.
Cool.
Here we go.
Shout
out to Frankfurt, Germany, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Orga, Genoa, Italy, Riches, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, I said that already. What did I? No, I hadn't. I went down a line. Son of a bee. Oh, my gosh. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, and for the very first time, Mike, Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth. Welcome to the 5-star club.
I'm sorry that I tripped on my way to the finish line, Fort Worth, Texas. I am sorry.
It happens.
But don't worry. We love you, Fort Worth, Texas. They came in, Mike. They were listening. They were listening this week. My goodness, they wanted it bad. Mike, since Fort Worth is on the regular list, I had to do some research. Mike, this is a fun fact about Fort Worth. They were the first ever city to have a laundromat.
Really?
The first laundromat in Fort Worth, Texas, back in 1934. Yeah. It's a little fun fact. Also, Mike, do you know the nickname for Fort Worth, Texas?
No, what is it?
Panther City. Yeah. Apparently back in the day, which was 1850s, not a Wednesday, some folks saw a panther napping in downtown Fort Worth. And I guess this is what you do in the 1850s. They took it as a sign of strength and prosperity.
Yes.
And they were like, we are Panther City.
Yeah.
That's what we are. And I got to say, Mike, I would probably take it as a sign somebody's about to get mauled by a panther. That would be my, oh, everybody run. It's a panther.
So true.
Also, I got to say, I bet you there's not too many panthers walking around downtown Fort Worth anymore. That would be a very abnormal thing to see. Like, is that a mountain lion? Did he just get hit by a bus? Yeah, he's dead.
Oh, it'd get shot before the bus hitting.
He's so in that 1.3 guns, he would definitely get shot. Yes.
It's like 3 guns per person in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the gun numbers. Yes. But we love you.
We do love you.
Mike, I'm going to say right now, if I were in Fort Worth, I have found my place that I need to try to eat. If I were in Texas, I would hit up Charlie's Old Fashioned Hamburgers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mike, it is down on Old Granbury Road. Oh, my gosh. Mike, you know we love reviews on this show.
Yes, we do.
I found a review of Charlie's. This is a 5-star from Alejandra Areza. Here it is. Quote, I moved to Fort Worth 4 years ago and have driven past this place 1,000 times.
Word.
I'd always say, one day I'm going to stop and try it. And yesterday was the day.
Sweet.
OMG. I wish I had done it sooner. So tasty. Such good portions. The fresh lemonade was delicious too. Can't wait to go back. Woohoo! Charlie's Old Fashioned Hamburgers. There you go, Mike.
Nice.
There you go. Now, I also have to say, Mike, they have a burger they call the Gosh Almighty. The Gosh Almighty.
I like that.
It's cornbread buns.
Ah, yes.
Cornbread buns, Mike. It looks like yellow pancakes they got this thing on. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's, isn't that like an arepa?
Yeah, to a degree.
So an arepa, yeah. So it'd be like an arepa burger.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, I could see it.
Oh,
I could see it.
That sounds nice.
Oh, it looks good, Mike. It looks good. Now, I need to go on to semi-regulars here, but I will say, Mike, special shout out to Chicago too. Chi-Town, they were coming in with the listens. And not just Chicago, because there's all kinds of sprawl around Chicago. Yeah. They got where Bridgeview, Northbrook, Hickory Hills, Blue Island, Burnham, all these spots just getting the listens. So shout out to Chicago too. Mike, semi-regulars. Here we go. First on the semi-regular list, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, thank you so much for listening.
Mike, breaking into your neighbors' houses and turning all their devices onto our show has been working.
That's what's happening.
The numbers are up. It is fantastic. Phoenix, you've got 3 weeks. Keep it up. You're on the regulars. You're right there with Fort Worth. I will come in hot with some Phoenix facts.
Oh, yeah.
Just for you. Mike, Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to Queen City. Port St. Lucie, Florida. Shout out to Port St. Lucie. Your old stomping grounds, Orlando, Florida. Shout out to the O-Town. Toronto, Canada. Shout out to Toronto. Leeds, England. Cairo, Egypt. And lastly, Taipei, Taiwan.
Sweet.
There we go. Shout out to all the semi-regulars. Appreciate it, Mike. Mike, I've got something in the old miscellaneous file here.
Ooh, what do we got?
Got to pull this out. Mike, this is real quick. I overheard a couple of folks that I know talking movies the other day. Talking comedy movies the other day. And I heard them talking bad about MacGruber.
Movie. What?
Yeah.
That movie was so good.
Amen, Mike.
That movie was so good.
let me be clear about this, Mike. On this radio show, there are two kinds of people in this world. There are the people that know and love the movie MacGruber, and there are giant pieces of shit. Okay?
That's right.
Make sure you're in the former.
Make sure you're in the former.
Yes. Good Lord. You want to love MacGruber.
You know who doesn't like MacGruber?
Oh, don't tell me, Mike. Don't make me hate it. Don't. Yeah. Amen.
Creatives.
Amen.
People who call themselves creatives.
That is correct, Mike. That is correct, because you know who are really creative? Will Forte and Yorma, who wrote that, all right? They are fantastic. Shout out to MacGruber, one of my favorites, Mike.
Great movie.
If not my favorite. I just love it. It's fantastic. Mike, we need to take a break, but we are going to be right back with none other than Tim Brennan from Dropkick Murphys right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very excited to be joined by the guitarist for the fantastic group Dropkick Murphys, who are once again firing up their St. Patrick's Day tour. They've got 3 stops in Florida, in Orlando, Miami, and Clearwater. That's on the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th of March. We've got Mr. Tim Brennan. Tim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
You must be getting excited for these shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you look at Dropkick Murphys, you guys are probably like about as Boston and as Irish as a band gets. Like, how awesome are those shows in Boston at the end of the tour on St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, they're so great. Nothing beats it. And it's these days, we tour so much and we're at home so little. Like, we play at home so little that getting to play those shows with our friends and family there, is always so great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of like you said. I mean, as big as you guys are in Boston, I noticed the band's top 5 listening locations, all international.
Really?
Europe, Canada, Australia on Spotify. I mean, do you guys ever, I mean, I know you've been in the band for 20 years, but is it ever wild to think, like, we've got millions of people in other countries listening to our tunes?
I mean, I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable. Luckily, we're all the type of people who are continuously surprised by the fact that we can show up to a different city or country and have people come and see us play. Yeah, It's great.
Well, I mean, one of the songs that, of course, brought you a lot of those fans is Shipping Up to Boston. The band recorded that song on the first album that you played on, Warriors Code. 20th anniversary just came out. I purchased my little candy stripe vinyl.
Oh, nice.
I'm excited about it. So you're the new guy in the band when the album originally came out.
Yeah.
When you were hearing that song before the album was released, was it one of those things that you were like, I bet this is going to be big, or did you just say, yeah, this is another Dropkick Murphy song?
It's funny because so the band had done a demo of that before I joined, and the demo wasn't right, but there was something about it that made, and I'm not saying this in a way where like I single-handedly rescued this song or anything, but they had done a demo. We hadn't talked about that song, and we started putting everything together for Warriors Code. And I went to Ken and I was like, maybe we should redo this. Like, there's something here. You know what I mean? There was something about it that, as somebody who was still in a position of just being kind of like a Dropkicks fan, I was like, there's something about that. So luckily we worked on it and it ended up going on the album. But even when we put the album out and would play that song live for a little bit, people really wouldn't bat an eyelash. It really wasn't until the Departed thing happened that one exploded like it did.
How did you find out as far as like the Departed? Like, did they tell you as a band, and then like, did you realize like, oh wow, this is gonna be huge for the band?
We basically got word that a song may or may not be used in an upcoming movie that was being made, like a little, and you know, I'm
Cryptic.
sure. Yes, I'm sure Ken probably had more information than that. But you know, as a new guy at the time, I remember just kind of hearing that. And then we were over in Europe, and we were all in the dressing room, and somebody was like, "Come here, let's watch this." The trailer for that movie came out, and we watched the trailer. And not only was the song in the trailer, but then it was like DiCaprio and Jack and like all those guys, and we freaked out. Still, like, that was cool and everything, but we still it never occurred to us that would make the song do anything. And then I remember we all went to go see The Departed in the theater, and all of us being super self-conscious New Englanders, like the shipping came on in the first time that it comes on in the movie, and I think every one of us was like, "Why is it so loud? Like, why did they put it in there so loud?" Like, we were so self-conscious about it, and then it just kind of took off from there. And now it's its own thing. You know, it's so insane. Like, it shows up so many places now that like it doesn't even occur to me that that's what I'm hearing. You know, if I'm at like a Celtics game or something like that, and you hear like it, I don't hear it and immediately go, "Yeah, Dropkicks." Like, it's become such a weird part of the thing that it's just kind of, it's so insane. And then we'll be playing a show and you're like, "Wow, these people are pretty high energy," and then you get to shipping and you're like, "Whoa, now there's a whole other level of it."
It took it there. It took it to another level.
But it goes to show you, like, you know, with the, like, how much a movie or like a TV show or something for people to associate the song with. It's amazing how much that does for something like that, you know?
Absolutely. When you guys went to go see The Departed, I'm guessing no one actually, like, in the theaters knew you had made that song.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's certainly at that point, you know, but it was insane. It was crazy.
Well, now, I mean, so like 3 years into the band, you go from being a dude in college to playing in front of thousands of people in the victory parade for the Boston Red Sox.
Right. Yeah.
That had to be awesome, but I feel like that also had to be like sort of a lot to process. Like, whoa.
Yeah. It was strange. In a good way, obviously. I mean, I had never, you know, I played in bands growing up my whole life, but never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you switch from guitarist, because that was, you know, about a year later, you
right.
Mark leaves the band.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was mostly excitement, but was there any like nervousness, like, some more responsibility here?
Yes, I was so nervous because, like, I had dabbled in guitar stuff before. Like, my main thing is drums. And then I was so obsessed with Irish music as a teenager that I learned how to play sort of all those Irish things. But in like guitar, I obviously, like, I played guitar, but like I didn't know what any chords were called or anything like that. I didn't know how to solo. And so I spent probably like 2 months leading up to those first shows of me playing guitar, just all day, every day playing guitar. And so, yeah, there was a good bit of nervousness.
Building up those calluses.
Yeah, there was a good.
How'd that first show go?
I think it was good. I mean, I've luckily come a long way, I think. But
yeah,
it was definitely exciting. It was one of those rare moments where, like, you know how they say that luck is like preparation plus, the moment presenting itself. And I felt like I had spent so much time preparing for something like that to happen that luckily it all worked out.
It worked out. Well, not too long after that, you guys got to play with Bruce Springsteen. And you ended up recording a couple of songs there with Bruce on there. What's it like working with the boss?
That was incredible. He's everything you want him to be. I remember the first time we met him, we were playing at Roseland Ballroom, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, but Roseland Ballroom in New York City. And my parents were there. Now, I don't come from a giant musical family. My brother and I are both musicians. For whatever reason, that just sort of happened. Like, our parents are not big music people or anything, but like anybody's parents from our generation, Bruce Springsteen is a god. So I remember we were at sound check that day, and like they told us that Springsteen was coming to the show that night. And he rolled up by himself, him and his son, Evan. And he rolled up by himself, didn't have any security with him or nothing. Came in. I was talking to my parents in the hallway when he first showed up and walked down the hallway. And my mom lost her mind. And my dad too, but my mom...
she couldn't keep it composed.
No, she went crazy. And luckily my parents are very supportive people, but if ever I needed to point to a moment where they were like, he's made the right decision, I guess that's probably it. And then after that we played on stage with him a couple times, and he came and played with us, and then he sang on the song Peg of My Heart from the Going Out in Style album. And he was so sweet to do that. He joined us for our Fenway thing during COVID. Just the best. There's a reason why they call him the boss. He is the boss.
Well, now, you guys have, through the years, you got to play with a bunch of big artists, like Bruce and like Aerosmith, and then all the big names in sort of the punk scene as well. What would you say? Who have you had the most fun with, like, on stage? Because you guys have played a lot of sort of combined songs with people come out play.
Right.
What's maybe one of the most fun you can remember?
That's a good question. The year that Springsteen came and played with us at House of Blues, we did that song Peg of My Heart, but then we also did Badlands, which is a Springsteen song from Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is like my favorite ever Springsteen. This is a picture of my dog put into the Darkness on the Edge of Town album cover. Darkness on the Edge of Town is, like, as far as I'm concerned, but the greatest thing that he's done. But so getting to play a song from that with him, was, oh my God! I have this picture of him and I both doing the guitar solo, like facing each other. It's like prized possession style stuff, and then but then personally, as far as like we've like playing with, not necessarily on stage, but like in 2005 we did the Pogues Christmas tour, which for me, I can't, like, I was telling somebody recently, I wish I remembered more about it, because I was so blown away by the fact that we were playing with the Pogues every night. Like, talk about my favorite band. That, like, I can barely remember that tour because I was just swimming in just, I had no idea what was happening,
blacked out in ecstasy.
Yes, exactly. I was so excited that it was like I couldn't even pay attention to what was happening. And so we've gotten a lot of weird opportunities like that, man, where you just can't even believe that it's happening, you know?
Nice. Well, now the newest single you guys have out, Sirens, I would say extremely topical, also historical. At the same time, I mean, you got the lyrics in the song, the billionaire profits while the worker bleeds. 1% of the wealth hoards from the millions in need.
Yep.
How many people do you see sort of locked into the social message of your guys' songs? Do you think it's getting out there? That's
a good question. I mean, you know, obviously we've always been who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that when things started getting really, really political, the fact that anybody was surprised to find out where we stood on the whole thing was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It is a fairly topical thing. You know, it's tough. I mean, you know, even as somebody I'm not a political person by nature.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard even for somebody like me to not get in, you know, sort of wrapped up in the whole thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, we are just a bunch of musicians who are putting out songs and everything. And if all we can do is sort of put out songs where we share our viewpoint on the whole thing, you know, I'd hope that there are some people who, you know, maybe aren't super politically minded that might hear a song like that and sort of take up the cudgels for that side. But at the same time, we are just, you know, we're musicians, so we're just doing what we can. But it's definitely it's a very difficult time politically, that's for sure.
I will say it amazes me. There are, I mean, and you see this anywhere. It's not just with you guys, but it does amaze me, those folks that just seem completely deaf to actually what you're saying. And you're like, do you guys understand? Did you hear what they said? That's completely opposite of what you're supporting. I don't know if you know that or not.
So it was, there was that weird time where things were getting really divisive, and people, there was a lot of people who seemed surprised at, like I said, where we stood on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know, as somebody who was a fan before joining the band, I was like, well, what were you hearing before when all the songs were about like the working class people and stuff? Like what were you even hearing? You know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I think there's a lot of instances where people aren't really hearing the message of songs. You know?
Get caught up in the momentum. Get caught up in the guitars.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I'm kind of one of those myself because I'm so music focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when we write new Dropkick stuff, 9 times out of 10, Ken will write the lyrics and I'll write the music or something like that. But because I'm so music focused, it takes me a while down the road before I even start hearing what the lyrics are. You know what I mean? I'm so concentrated on having the music grab somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I can understand that, but still, like, as far as
eventually you'll get there.
Look at the cover of the first Dropkicks record. You know what I mean? Like all those working guys and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not listening, even if you're not picking up on what the lyrics are saying, you'd think that like imagery wise, you would be like, I understand. I know where these guys are coming from.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, that's, I always tell people it's sort of the same way, at least I think as far as somebody finding a significant other, usually looks will rope you in, and that's the melody, that's the music. And then after you talk to them for a while, you either realize, hey, this is a person I can really dig, or no, and that's the lyrics. So
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
But more than anything, I think you guys still, it seems like you still love to get up there and perform. And how much juice does it give you and the band when you get those, like, because I've seen a bunch of those videos sort of on the social media of like the 10 and the 12-year-olds in the audience singing along with like the, you know, the lyrics there on stage.
Yeah. That's incredible. And I mean, and a lot of times, you know, you see kids like that and you notice that, you know, their parent who they're with is somebody that we recognize from being at our shows for 15 years, you know?
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, Ken makes it a point to sort of reference it when we're on stage every night, but sort of those people bringing in the next generation of Dropkick fans is what's going to keep us going.
Absolutely.
So it's, you know, it's great to see that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I want to thank you for coming on the Doc G Show.
My pleasure. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Listeners, make sure you check out the Dropkick Murphys either in Orlando, Miami, or Clearwater, March 6th through the 8th. Right now, let's take a listen to Sirens by Dropkick Murphys right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. You just heard Tim Brennan, guitarist for, once again, Dropkick Murphys.
Nice.
Favorite album, Mike? This is my favorite album. This is the album with the classic Shipping Up to Boston on it. Just a fantastic jam. Also, highly underappreciated jam, Mike. The Green Fields of France. Oh, that's a good jam. It's a real. It'll pull at your heartstrings, Mike. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's about World War I. World War I. Yeah, and then also the Old Triangle. Oh, that's a good one too. Anywho, Mike.
I like the song titles.
Yeah.
The Green Fields of France.
Yeah. They're big into they're big into poetry, Mike.
Word.
So sometimes they dig deep in where they pull some of their songs from. So pretty dope. Anyways, thank you very much to Tim Brennan for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Really cool. I like, you know, I think about it, Mike, like being them. I mean, they were a successful band up until The Departed, right? They were able to tour. They were doing international shows and stuff. But then Martin Scorsese plans on, he puts Shipping Up to Boston into The Departed and just explodes, man. Like the feeling that's got to be when all of a sudden you see your song and you see Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, all of these dudes acting to your song. My God, that has to be insane, Mike.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's got to be a fun wave to ride right there. But anywho, Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C, top 3.
Mike, very generic, I would say, but in a good way, list this week. Top 3 months.
Yeah.
Top 3 months. We've only got 12 choices, guys, unless we made up a month, and I didn't make up a month. These are all real months, everybody.
Sweet.
Mike, you don't have any honorables, do you?
No.
Yeah, I felt like, you know, since there's only 12, it's not enough to be like, well, I got to throw this one in there too, you know? So I've just got the 3. So let's get down to it, Mike.
Let's get down to
Number 3, July.
July.
Mike, it's just right there in the middle of the summer. This is where you did weird shit, you know? You'd been out of school long enough to where you were like getting a little restless, a little bored, so you were ready to just pick up something weird. You're walking through the neighborhood, you find somebody that has a shuffleboard or something, and you're like, should we play shuffleboard? Is that what we're going to do right now? Like, you just did weird stuff, you know? And pool parties. My God, were the pool parties plentiful, Mike. You know?
Oh, yeah.
There's a
For sure.
There's a haze on everything in July. Everything's sticky and sultry, and I love it, Mike. Mike, the best peaches are grown in July.
Yes!
Oh.
And to me, that peach is analogous with life in July.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
ripe for the picking, you know? The hangouts with friends seem better. You can sit in the backyard until like 2 a.m. You can have a pool party until the apartment security kicks you out. It's just beautiful. It's just great, you know?
I like that. Yeah.
Love July, Mike. That's my
July.
number 3. Your number 3. What do you got?
My number 3, January.
Oh, my God, Mike. That's sick. But I'll accept it.
Yeah, I know.
I'll accept it.
I know. Short days. It's not the best for, sunlight.
What do you like about it?
I like that it feels like there's not a lot to worry about.
Okay.
You don't have any holidays you have to,
You've
worry
gotten
about
through everything.
celebrating. Yeah, it's also like a new beginnings. It's the new year. You can kind of start fresh if that's kind of what your thing
I hear
is.
ya.
And mine is to a degree, but not really. I don't really have New Year's resolutions, but I do feel like, it's a fresh start. It's still too soon for tax season, so you don't have to really worry about taxes. It's I don't know. That's a thing for me.
Sure.
It's also, it's hoodie. It's hoodie weather. January, lots of good days for wearing hoodies and sweatshirts. I like wearing those things. January.
Mike,
that's all I got for it.
You've made some good points. Now, am I going to be a January fan? No, but I like your points. You know?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Number 2 on my list, Mike. June. The month you get out of school. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't know. They do all kinds of wacky things now. Sometimes people get out in May. Sometimes they don't get out at all. It's like a year-round deal, and they only...
yeah, screw that noise.
But in my day, Mike, June was the month. Right at the beginning of June, it was like June 2nd or June 3rd, something like that. And just, oh my gosh, Mike, just the promise of summer, It's the month of summer solstice. You got the longest day of the year. So much is possible. Your birthday is there. There's just so much, Mike. It's just, it's just, I don't know. June... nothing really ever came out of summer, When you're actually going through summer as a high schooler, you don't actually ever get anything accomplished. But when you start summer break, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to do so many things. It's going to be so crazy. And just, I get that same feeling, even though, I have no school, So.
Yeah, for sure. June's good, man.
There you go. Number June.
June's a good month.
June. Mike, you're
June.
second.
So it's going to be May. It's going to be May.
If I had an honorable mention, May would be there.
Yeah, May's a good month. I don't know about what you were talking about with the birthday, but my birthday's in May.
Why was I
May
thinking
21st.
June?
Well, it's late. It's late May. Oh, you know what? You know what's also great about June? NBA Finals. I looked this up. So yeah. Birthday celebrations. Also, for me, it was the last day of school a lot of years.
See, that's the thing.
That was always a thing of celebration.
That's why I put it on the line anyways. If I had an honorable mention on this one, it would be May. Because May and June sort of go together, especially at the end, right? I can see it.
Yeah.
You know what, Mike? In retrospect, now I'm changing it to May. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, cool. Well, we got one I like the summer solstice, though, in June. I didn't know that's when that was, and I like long days.
Yeah.
So, that's...
June... Yeah. Summer solstice, June 21st.
June 21st. Okay, good to know.
So 1 month off of your birthday.
1 month off, yeah.
Okay.
But, May still has a lot of very long days.
Oh, yeah. No. It's already there. It's already...
Yeah. Also, NBA playoffs in May.
Yeah.
So a lot of good basketball games. You can say May the 4th be with you on May 4th. And then I'll say that for a couple more days. May the 5th be with you. May the 6th be with you. And yeah, May number 2.
May the 6th be with you. That sounds sexual.
You know, it could be if you say it in such a way.
Mike, my number 1, April.
Now it's your birthday, Doc G. 420.
To me, it's the promise of a new year, Mike. Because to me, this is the new year, not January.
Yeah. Okay.
No offense to your third listing, but that is not my new year, Mike. It is.
I like how you see that, though. I like how you see it. As the new year is your birthday, is the new year.
Well, it's not even my birthday. It's the fact that, January is cold, it's dark, everything is dead. I don't have anything to celebrate when New Year's comes around. I'm just like, ugh.
Nope.
Look at this. Ugh, right? But April, everything is in bloom. The days are getting longer. You hear animals again. You go outside and you're like, things are alive. What?
Yeah. I could see that.
It's not just crows, Like, and then you're making grand plans for the summer, which goes in, again, to continuum. May, same deal, right? May is that same idea that you're getting ready for summer. It's the promise of summer, and it's just I get excited like I'm back in school when it's April. That I'm like, oh my God, summer's getting close. Oh my God, there's gonna be so many things.
It's like the Thursday of the week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The promise is almost better. Like, I mean, it's sad, Mike.
Yeah.
But I live in that promise more so than the actual process,
Yeah.
But July and June are the process that I want to be in because those are the summer months. Those are the actual, and I gotta just. But April's always been that way, man. It's just so much, and like you just see everything in the flowers. You're like, oh yeah, because I mean they say April showers bring May flowers, but come on, when you're in Florida, they've already flowered. It's April that you're seeing those flowers, like you don't have to wait until May, but April, man, it's just spring has sprung, and I love to see it spring, anyways, Mike, your number.
I love to see it sprung.
Oh, number 1, Mike.
For me, my number 1 is December.
Oh God, Mike, why?
I know. I like the last months.
Oh.
First, I like the kind of end of the year. I don't know, man. Lots of holidays. I travel usually a lot in December. Things really slow down for stand up and acting. I like the time off. It's it's a nice time of year. Holiday parties. And this is kind of this is a very Pacific one for me, but I have a little, e-commerce store on the side.
Yeah.
And man, the sales are just coming through. People are buying presents, and I love that little cash register sound on my phone. Again, this is terrible that I say these things, but it's true. Lots of guilt-free time off.
It's not bad to hear your business is thriving, Mike. That's not a bad thing.
It's a nice time of year for business. I like Christmas. It's not, I like Christmas. I like Christmas Eve. I like New Year's Eve, and that's technically in December. I'm a fan of New Year's Eve. It's a good party. It's always a good party.
Mike, the only thing I can get on board with in December is turning the corner of the winter solstice. Being like, oh, thank God we made it. It's getting longer now. Oh, God, it's over. That's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Holidays, Mike, I get you. But me, man, force fun.
Yeah.
I feel like
I can see it, man. I totally get it.
There's people trying to force
that
it,
way too.
Yeah. Now, if
definitely.
I just had like a bunch of things, well, it's not like I have a bunch of things that I have to go to, but I feel like other people are forcing themselves into fun. I feel like the compliance is all around me. And then I also feel like, during holidays, it's like you're not allowed to do your normal stuff because everybody's in their forced fun stuff. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
we just go back to the regular? Come on now, you know?
Yeah.
But I get it. There's all kinds of things to celebrate in December. It's just not for me, Mike. That's not my celebration.
Yeah. Hey, I totally get it.
You know?
I totally get it.
April is the new year, Mike. It's just
I like that.
It's like the Chinese year, you know, the Chinese calendar. This is the Ben Gordon calendar. April starts.
I'm gonna start following this philosophy.
April starts. It starts the year.
I like
man.
that.
And
Yeah.
you feel born brand new. You know, it's very exciting. I like it. I love it. Mike, what is our topic for next week?
Next week we are going to do. What was it again?
Now I forgot what we said. Girl, come on. What did we? Oh, festivals.
Top 3 festivals
Local
that
festivals.
we've attended.
Let me clarify. So, like things like, for instance, I'm thinking a lot of things that I've done in Colombia back in the day. Like, for instance, I went to a crawfish festival, Mike.
Okay.
Also, I went to, of course, St. Patrick's Day festival.
Yeah.
You know, a spooktacular Halloween festival in Miami. These
are
things.
festivals that we've attended.
Do you want to do? I feel like we need to do attend. You know.
Okay, let's do festivals that we've attended.
Because then we might have some stories of why.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
for sure.
it's just conjecture of us guessing why they would be cool. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 festivals that we have attended. There we go. There we
Cool.
go, listeners. Think of your festivals. Mike, we need to move on. We have 2 birthday suits left. 2 birthday suits left. I'm
All
not
right.
sure if you'll get either of these.
Okay.
Because they're not in your wheelhouse. One is an old school author. The other is an actress that you might know her. I definitely I've seen her face. I know who she is. But like the 2 things she's obviously most known for, I do not know those things. So, Mike, which one do you want?
Let's go with the actress.
Okay. Born on March 12th, 1984 in Greenville, South Carolina. She's an actress known for playing Jessie in the TV series Kyle XY and Lady Sif. I think that's how you say it, Sif. Lady Sif in Thor. And then in The Dark World and Thor, Love and Thunder. So there you go. That's apparently the 2 things she's most known for, Mike.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, that's what I was afraid of. I have no idea either.
Nope.
I will give you the initials, though, just in case. J.A.
Jessica Alba.
Nailed it!
Thank you.
Nailed. No. Jamie Alexander, Mike. Go ahead, look up Jamie Alexander. See if you know that lady. I bet when you see a picture, you'll be like, she seems familiar. She seems familiar. Because when I did it, Jamie's spelled, by the way, Jaimie. No, not doing anything.
Recognize her. No.
Okay, surprising. Yeah. I don't know what she's recognizable for me from, but she's recognizable.
She's just got that look, man. She's just got that.
Maybe that's it.
Kinda,
Maybe she just has a look, and it's not. I'm not actually.
She just has that look, like she's from something. I don't know.
I mean, I definitely say she's pretty good looking.
She is.
You know. So there you go.
She definitely is. But yeah, none of her movies I've seen. I've not seen anything.
Neither have I. She seems like a lovely lady, though, Mike. She does. She was in Africa, helping with Self-Help Africa the last couple of weeks there.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if she's still out there or not. And apparently, she's all about getting lymphatic massages as well. So
what's that mean?
Honestly, I'm not super. I'm guessing moving.
They massage your neck or something?
Well, I'm guessing moving like where the lymph nodes are, like massaging, or not moving, but massaging where the lymph nodes are and trying to like move lymphatic fluid throughout your body. I'm guessing like.
And those are in the neck, right? Or no?
Oh, there's lymph nodes all over your body.
I didn't know
there's
that.
lymph nodes in your armpits. There's lymph nodes at throughout your arm, just all over the place. Anywho, happy birthday to Jamie Alexander, turning 41, Mike. 41. Okay, here we go, Mike. Last one. Our birthday suit wearer was born in Lowell, Massachusetts on March 12th, 1922. He was a writer that was known for starting the Beat generation. His most famous work was his 1957 book, On the Road Again. But he wrote other books like Big Sur, The Subterraneans, Desolation Angels, Dr. Sax, and others. Do you know who it is, Mike?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. J.K. are his initials.
J.K. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Jack Kerouac, Mike. Jack Kerouac. On the Road, Mike. Huge book. I will say, not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I remember reading it just being like, oh my God, this is a life-changing book. And then I read it. I was like, this isn't really blowing my mind here, And maybe I'm just too dumb, Mike. Could be the problem. It's one of those, basically it's a dude going across the country, staying with different people, experiencing different people's lives. That's pretty much it, But it convinced people to this beatnik society, And, all kinds of super famous artists have said they were influenced by Kerouac. Bob Dylan, Grateful Dead, The Doors, The Beatles. So many movies, TV shows, songs, they all reference Jack Kerouac, Sadly.
Sorry. And the Beatnik Society, is that these are just kind of like travelers, like these?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. To a degree, it's more like sort of going against the sort of social norms of the 50s and the early 60s. They expressed artistic expression. They wanted people to do art and just they were rejecting all of the conforming norms after World War II, which was like the first time that you sort of had this whole group of just like, hey, we're eccentric. These were creatives, Mike. These were creatives,
Okay.
No, they wouldn't have called themselves that. They wouldn't have. But anywho, Mike, sadly, our birthday suit wearer passed away at a very young age. I think it was, 47? Yeah. He died from cirrhosis of the liver and a hernia. That's what they think is combined too. Yeah. Anywho, Jack Kerouac, Mike. Mike, we have some fantastic shows coming up. Can't wait. A bunch of them on the docket. Haven't decided what's coming up next week, but we'll see. Until then, we need to wrap it up. I've been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Verticus Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, that got a little bobbled in there.
Let me try that again.
Try it again.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, that was clear. That was beautiful. Until next time, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.